Hello Anabolic Boba gang, welcome back to the final video of this first series. If you want to see the series continue, by all means drop a comment down below telling me what other boba flavors you want to see me make anabolic, and I can see what I will be able to do for you. I know that this has been one heck of a ride, learning that we can not only make our favorite boba recipes at home, but also make them in fewer calories and be anabolic. So this has been a whole journey for so many of us. And today we're going to be working on one that, while it comes from Japan, has been incorporated into the American palate as well. And that is for a matcha smoothie. So everyone, let's take a look at what we need to put this together. For our matcha smoothie, we're going to need matcha powder, cashew milk, fat-free evaporated milk, sugar-free vanilla pudding, no-calorie sweetener, and a protein powder. You can also add in a topping of your choice. For this, I'm going to be using red bean because it is often mixed with green tea classic. To start, we're going to add in 30 grams of our fat-free evaporated milk, along with a whole cup or 240 grams of our cashew milk. We are then going to add 4 grams of our green tea powder. I'm using an old Gorilla Mode scoop. You can use any sort of pre-workout scoop if you don't have one that's going to be small and it can just live in the bag. I find that to be a really convenient and useful way to repurpose things that you would otherwise just dispose of. And there we have our 4 grams. Now it's time for 20 grams of our protein powder, 5 grams of our sugar-free pudding, and 5 grams of our no-calorie sweetener. Now let's throw it on our whirly-bird and give it a spin. And as you can see after the blending, we do have some climbing up the sides. We're going to scrape that down. And then we'll add about 200 grams of crushed ice. And we'll whiz it until it's done. Now I'm going to measure 30 grams of my red bean into my cup. As a side note about personal preference, this particular brand of red bean has chestnut in it, which to me tastes really similar to lotus. And I really like lotus paste, like in mooncakes. So this is a way for me to get some of that flavor and help keep those cravings at bay. And now there's only one thing left to do, my friend. This blender into this blender and sink in a straw. Anabolic Boba gang, my ABGs, let's give this final recipe in the series a taste. Matcha is kind of expensive to get. That bag I had cost like $8 or something. But when you consider how expensive it is to get anything made with matcha, that is super cheap. Keep that in mind. A lot of the ingredients that we get here in the Anabolic kitchen would cost a lot up front. But when you start to tabulate the savings, if you were going to be eating even remotely like this, but not through the Anabolic diet, and you were going to be eating out for all of this, not only would you be having double, sometimes triple the calories, but it would end up costing a lot more also. Not to mention you have to deal with the lines and all the risk that's associated right now during our pandemic, stuff you don't want to deal with. And half of us know that we are actually looking forward to not having to deal with people so much as of the long-standing effects of this whole pandemic situation that we find ourselves in. All that aside, everyone, these are the nutrition facts for just the smoothie. And these are the nutrition facts for it with the red bean. If you have never experienced red bean, I highly recommend that you try it out. It's not something that we are used to in the American palate, but it is really, really good. Brings a little bit of sweetness, a little bit more earthiness, and it really balances quite well with the tea, believe it or not. And if you personally would rather skip on the toppings altogether, this could serve as a proxy for your Starbucks matcha frappuccino. It does the same thing. It has that matcha flavor that you're looking for, except it only took a few minutes, right? With a lot of our recipes, if you start to think about the amount of time it takes you to prepare it and compare that to the time it would take you to go out, get food and come back home, even if you were going to be eating it and enjoying it at home, you still are spending more time. Yes, some of the baked goods, because of preheating time and all of that, take a little bit longer. Some things require a long cooking time. But most things don't take more time than it takes to get dressed, go out, come back, and not to mention the waiting time to get your food. So keep all of that in mind. We're in a new year. We're looking for some hopefully really good new changes. And let's try to keep that ball rolling by making sure that we are making the best decisions for ourselves in our lives. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning into the series. If you liked the video, don't forget to press that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and ding that notification bell. Follow my Instagram. It gives you a way to keep in touch with me and to know what other sorts of stuff I have upcoming. And until that next one, always remember to stay worthy.